Stand outside on a hot afternoon and turn on your sprinkler. Watch closely. Before the water ever reaches the roots, half of it disappears into the air. The sun steals it. The wind carries it sideways. The rest splashes across pathways, fences, and weeds that never asked to be fed. Modern irrigation feels advanced. Timers, smart controllers, precision nozzles. And yet, it's wildly inefficient. Studies estimate that overhead sprinklers can lose up to 30 to 50% of their water to evaporation and runoff, especially in dry, windy climates. You're not watering your plants, you're watering the atmosphere. Drip irrigation tried to fix this, and it helped until algae clogged the lines, emitters blocked with minerals, and plastic tubing cracked under UV exposure. But 4,000 years ago, farmers in arid regions of China and North Africa were already growing food in dry climates without pumps, plastic, or pressure regulators. They used a buried clay pot. It's called an olla. Simple, unglazed, porous. No moving parts, no electricity, and it might be the most efficient irrigation system ever invented. Instead of spraying water across the surface, the olla buries the water underground, right where roots actually live. It doesn't leak randomly, it doesn't flood, it responds to the plant. It releases water only when the soil dries out, not on a timer, not on your schedule, on the plant's schedule. In this video, we're reviving the lost art of clay pot irrigation. We'll explore the ancient history, the physics behind soil tension, and how to build your own system for about the cost of a coffee. Stop standing outside with a hose. Let physics do the work.
At first glance, an olla looks like it shouldn't work. It's just an unglazed terracotta pot buried in the soil. No valves, no drip emitters, no sensors. But the secret isn't electronics, it's physics. Unglazed clay is porous. If you pour water into a terracotta pot and wait, you'll see something strange happen. The outside surface begins to darken. Tiny beads of moisture form. The pot starts to sweat. That's not a crack, that's capillary action. The clay walls contain microscopic pores. Water moves through those pores slowly, not as a leak, but as a controlled seep. Now here's where it becomes genius. Soil exerts something called soil tension, essentially the suction created as soil dries. When the surrounding soil is wet, it presses back against the pot, holding the water inside. But when plant roots absorb moisture and the soil begins to dry, tension increases. The dry soil literally pulls water through the clay. It's a self-regulating system. Wet soil, the pot stops releasing. Dry soil, the pot releases more. The olla is not just a container, it's a passive sensor. The plant drinks when it's thirsty. You don't guess, you don't overwater, you don't drown roots. And because the water is underground, typically 6 to 8 inches deep, evaporation drops dramatically. Surface soil stays dry, while the root zone remains consistently moist. This creates a powerful shift in plant behavior. Roots grow toward the pot, they wrap around it, they establish deep, stable systems instead of shallow, surface-level roots dependent on frequent watering. You're not just hydrating the plant, you're training it. In a world obsessed with smart irrigation systems and app-controlled sprinklers, the olla feels almost embarrassing in its simplicity. But that simplicity is its strength. No electricity, no pressure, just clay, water, and the invisible force of soil tension doing exactly what it has done for thousands of years.
If you search online for Olla irrigation, you'll find beautiful handcrafted clay vessels selling for $30, $40, sometimes $50 each. They work. But here's the secret. You can build one for about $3. All you need are 2 unglazed terracotta pots of the same size, waterproof silicone or strong outdoor adhesive, and a cork or plug. That's it. Step 1. Plug the drainage hole in one of the pots. A cork works. Silicone works, even waterproof epoxy. The goal is simple. No water escapes from the bottom. Step 2. Apply a bead of silicone around the rim of one pot. Step 3. Press the second pot upside down onto it, rim to rim. Now you have a sealed clay capsule that looks like a small UFO. Let it cure for 24 hours. That's your olla. Before burying it, test it. Fill it with water and set it on dry ground. It should not drip. It should slowly darken on the outside over time. If it pours water out, you've got a crack or a bad seal. What you want is sweat, not a leak. Alternatively, you can skip the double pot method and use a single terracotta pot with the hole sealed and a lid on top. It's simpler, slightly less durable, but works perfectly. The key is unglazed clay. Glazed pots won't breathe. Plastic won't work. The porosity is the magic. For the cost of a lunch, you now have a system that can water plants for years with zero electricity and almost no maintenance. Ancient technology doesn't mean primitive. It means refined by time. And now it's ready to go underground.
This is where the transformation happens. Dig a hole in your garden bed deep enough so that the olla sits buried up to its neck. The top opening should remain just above the soil surface, accessible for refilling. Everything else? Underground. Now, plant around it. Tomatoes, peppers, squash, eggplant, crops that crave consistent moisture thrive with this method. Arrange them in a circle about 12 to 18 inches from the pot, depending on plant size. Then fill the olla with water. That's it. No daily watering, no sprinklers. Within days, something remarkable begins underground. The surrounding soil starts to equalize moisture with the pot. Roots sense the consistent hydration and grow toward it. Within a couple of weeks, those roots will wrap around the clay surface like an embrace. They've found the reservoir. Instead of shallow, lazy roots near the surface, your plants develop deeper, stronger root systems anchored where the water actually lives. This changes drought tolerance dramatically. Surface watering trains plants to expect frequent showers. Olla irrigation trains plants to seek stable reserves. And here's the beauty. You refill based on usage, not guesswork. In moderate climates, a medium-sized olla might need refilling once every 5 to 7 days. In extreme heat, maybe every 2 to 3 days. Refilling takes 10 seconds. No hoses dragged across the yard, no soaked leaves inviting fungal disease, no muddy surface erosion. You bury the water, you train the roots, and you step back. This isn't just irrigation, it's root-level strategy.
Now here's the side effect no one talks about. Look at the surface of your garden bed after installing an olla. It's dry, not slightly damp, dry dust. And that changes everything. Most weed seeds germinate in the top half-inch of soil. They need moisture and light. When you water with a sprinkler or hose, you hydrate the entire surface layer, including every dormant weed seed waiting for an excuse to explode. You're not just watering your tomatoes, you're funding competition. With olla irrigation, the water sits 6 to 8 inches underground. The surface never gets wet enough for mass germination. The tomato drinks deep. The weeds starve shallow. It's a built-in weed suppression system. You haven't sprayed anything, you haven't tilled, you haven't laid plastic. You simply moved the water. And because the surface remains dry, you also reduce fungal disease pressure. No constantly wet leaves, no muddy splashing onto stems, no mildew-friendly microclimate. It's quiet efficiency. The olla doesn't just save water, it changes the battlefield. Instead of constantly reacting, pulling weeds, correcting overwatering, battling root rot, you prevent the problem at its source. Water where roots live, starve what grows on the surface. This is irrigation as strategy, not habit. Modern gardening convinced us that complexity equals progress. Timers, pressure regulators, smartphone apps that tell us when to water. But none of those systems eliminate evaporation. None of them stop weeds at the source.
and none of them truly listen to the plant. The Olla does. It's 4,000-year-old technology that still outperforms most backyard irrigation setups. No electricity, no pumps, no plastic tubing to clog, just porous clay responding to soil tension, releasing water only when the roots demand it. You fill it once, and for days, sometimes a week, it handles the rest. In drought conditions, this method can reduce water usage dramatically, often 50 to 70% less than surface watering, because you're not losing moisture to wind or sun. You're not watering the air, you're watering the root zone. And maybe that's the deeper lesson. Ancient farmers didn't have excess, they had limits, so they built systems that respected water. We have hoses, they had physics. If you want a garden that survives heat waves, water restrictions, or your own forgetfulness, bury a clay pot next to your plants. Let the roots wrap around it. Let the surface stay dry. Let gravity and soil tension handle the work. Stop standing outside with a hose for hours. Plant it, fill it, forget it. And if you want more forgotten systems that outperform modern convenience, subscribe to the Garden Lore Vault, because sometimes the future of gardening is buried in the past.